What's going on, guys? Joe from SRHQ. I thought I would go over my Barlow knife collection with you guys. Go over what a Barlow knife is if you are not familiar with it, and just show you what I got. I had a lot of fun doing my Stockman video, so I thought I would do one with Barlows as well. As some of you guys may know, I rely heavily on Levine's guide. Maybe I can get a shot of that in the camera. I use the 3rd edition. I'm not sure what you guys all use, but mine's a bit older and it's beaten up. But yeah, I was reading the section on Barlow knives and I decided to get mine out on the mat and show you guys what I have. So what he says basically a Barlow knife is a, sorry about that guys, jackknife first and foremost, meaning it has, Barlow knives can have 1 or 2 blades coming out of one end of the knife. They normally have a characteristic longer extended bolster. Some people say they have to be a 1/3 of the length of the actual handle. I don't think that actually holds up. I've seen companies with varying lengths of bolsters and still calling them Barlows. Some companies have shadow frame knives that they call Barlows, as well as other knives that have just a regular jack style bolster. Companies like Boker calls their primetime Barlow a Barlow knife. But typically a Barlow knife will have a longer extended bolster, mostly of metal. I think some of the newer ones are having, things like carbon fiber and micarta and stuff. But traditionally, in a traditional sense, it would be a metal bolster, mostly steel or nickel silver. I have one copper over here. This is a Rough Rider, but mostly steel or nickel silver, at least from the ones that I have. Now, Barlow knives can come in basically 3 different sizes. Of course, there are variations to all of this. You have the standard Barlow, which I would say this row over here, these over here, and this up here would be a standard Barlow, and that's, around the 3 3/8 inch mark, 3.5, somewhere around there. It's not an exact set measurement, but somewhere around the 3 3/8 inch I would call a standard Barlow. All of these would fall into that. Then you have the baby Barlows, under 3 inches, small Barlows, baby Barlows. Levine's guide says that all of the baby Barlows are cheap knives under 3 inches. I have some pretty expensive Barlow knives that are under 3 inches, so I wouldn't say that they are all cheap, but this would be a good representation of a baby Barlow, and I believe Rough Rider even calls this a baby Barlow. I'm not sure. And then you have the daddy Barlows or the granddaddy Barlows, and they're typically around the 5-inch range. I just have one currently. I've had several over the years, but I just have one currently. My friend BDH sent this one over to the channel a long time ago. Still have it, still love it. So I'm just going to go through and show you guys what I have as far as Barlow knives. Now, he says that they are either on a regular jack frame or a sleeve board frame. I would also argue he's calling this the regular jack frame. Maybe I can show you guys real quick if I can find the page. So here would be the regular jack. I would also argue that this could be a teardrop or a swell end. It is wider at this end, and some of these Barlows will vary as to how wide that end is, or a sleeve board, which they have this one pictured. Just keep in mind, to be considered a sleeve board, the blades don't have to come out of the wide end. It can also come out of the skinny end. So as far as the regular jacks, I would say they're saying this frame, but I would also argue that you could call this a teardrop frame or a swell end. The sleeve board would be something like this. The Rough Rider is also a sleeve board. So let's just start with this. I just want to go through all of these knives, just give you guys something to watch, give me a reason to get all these Barlows out. And yeah, I'll tell you guys what I know about Barlows. So here we have, you know, it's a Rough Rider. I don't have a lot of Rough Riders, but I do have 2 Barlows on the mat here. Everyone complains about the R. I don't mind the R. I do think this looks a lot better with the horseshoe and the double R. You can get this standard size Barlow with this bolster. At least I've seen them on eBay. I do prefer that over this R, but it doesn't bother me so much. I really like the saw cut on this one. This one is saw cut with copper. Does it say always ready? Rough Rider. This one has black blades. What was this? This was like, I don't know, titanium coated. I don't know. 440 razor sharp steel. So yeah, this is a 2-blade. Master clip and a secondary pen on a nice rounded, what Levine is calling a sleeve board frame. Very cool. Then I guess I'm starting with the standard Barlows. I just started up here. This is a Booker. This is the 150-year anniversary knife that came out a couple years ago. These were available for quite a while after their initial release, but from what I can see, they are all gone now. They only made 150 of them. They had several knives in the collection that they made 150 of them. The Barlow is just one of them. This one has a serial number. 21 of 150. This is in curly birch. Dyed and stabilized. Great looking brass Boker shield. Also says 150 years. Yeah, so here's another Boker Barlow that I have. This is an older one. 2-blade, spear point master blade. There's your tang stamp. I really like the bolster on this one. Levine's guide mentioned several times that the fancy bolsters was something that was better received in southern United States as opposed to the northern United States. So the Southerners like the fancy bolsters, and the Northerners, I guess, like the, I don't know, plainer bolster. I don't know. I have read that a couple times. Let me know if you guys have ever heard that as well. So this little Boker has, you know, nice little stamped logo on the bolster. I believe this one's all steel. This one was copper. This one was nickel silver bolster. I believe this one is all steel. And this one is on the same frame as this one. So you can see this one's in saw cut Delrin. Master spear point blade and a secondary pen with a spot that I have to take a look at. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if this is going to be a boring video, but I just want to blow through my Barlows and, you know, kind of document what I have, show you guys what I have, and hopefully give you guys something to watch. One of my subscribers wrote me and asked me about this knife because I had shown this knife. This is a K-Bar. What was that? 1013 Barlow. And I got this and it was in really rough shape, and I did clean it up. I haven't really used it because it does have an issue with how the blade closes. But saw cut Delrin, this is like the end result. This is as shiny as I went, but it is a lot better. The bolsters were covered in rust. This knife was in really poor shape. And yeah, now it's just sitting in the Barlow collection. Now the next one I'm going to show you is probably one of my favorite Barlows. I have a couple favorites that I will mention throughout the video, but this is a keen cutter in saw cut bone. This is from 1959. It just, I don't know, just has this classic car kind of feel to it. Everything's shiny chrome-like, you know. I don't know. I really love this knife. This one was also in kind of rough shape when it came to me. There's your tang stamp, keen cutter. And yeah, I cleaned it up. I enjoy, just getting knives that are pretty beat up and, sanding them up and polishing them up and bringing them back as best as I can. Yeah, it's really enjoyable for me. So, and this is one of my favorites. Really like the look of it. Really like the saw cut bone on it. And you can see the craftsmanship is just, yeah, top notch. Yeah, really enjoy this one. Then we're going to go over here. This is a really interesting one. This is a queen. This is the only queen Barlow that I have. This one is like a really old school integral. This is an aluminum bolstered Barlow, but you can see the bolster and this back part, it's all one solid piece, making for a very light knife. This has saw cut Delrin as well. And you can see here and here we have slots for the spring, and I can tell you it's a very strong spring. You can see the steel spring is just inside. You can see how that works. We just have a single blade. Clip point, we have on the blade Queen Steel number 60, made in the USA. Here's our tang stamp from 1978. So very cool knife. I've heard a lot of, people that make videos on modern knives talk about these integrals and everything, but Queen's been doing this at least since 1978. I believe I've seen this knife in a display from the 50s as well. So really cool knife. I like this knife. I don't carry it very often because it's in very good shape and it's really old. I just like having it in the collection. Got a mean snap on it. This thing is a beast. Next we got a Bear & Sons. BDH recently sent this to me. He's got a package on the way. I hope it doesn't take too long, because one of the conditions of him sending me something, I made sure I'd be able to send him something back, and his package is currently on the way to him, so hopefully he likes what I sent. I haven't told him yet. It's going to be a surprise. But I had never had a Colonel Kuhn knife, and what I understand, Colonel Kuhn is like the Smoky Mountain Knife Works American-made brand, so like Rough Rider US. I don't know, this one's in walnut covers. Nickel silver bolster. Nice little decorative Barlow scroll on it. This one does have a blade etch, Colonel Kuhn knives. Yeah, two-bladed main clip point. Secondary pen. I can't read that. Handmade. And a date. Sorry, I can't read that through the camera. But yeah, pretty cool knife. I've had a couple Bear & Sons Barlows, and a Barlow is just supposed to be an inexpensive, sturdy knife, and this would fall into that category. This is just no nonsense. They don't pay super high attention to the fit and finish, but it's a Barlow. It's got this extended bolster. It feels pretty sturdy. This is just a good working man's knife. I didn't show this little shield. What is that? Little raccoon. So yeah, this, if you'll notice, most of my Barlows are either American made or German made. I do have the Lion Steel, it's Italian, the Marbles, and a couple Rough Riders. But for the most part, I collect, I really like the classic American Barlows. You can see a lot of different companies made very similar Barlows, and this was a really, popular frame, because you can see the resemblance, that to the Great Eastern Cutlery in their TCs. TCs are a hair larger than your standard Barlows from, the 50s and 60s that I have seen. But yeah, we talked about the Bear & Son. We'll come down here to the sub 3-inch. I guess Levine's would call this the baby Barlow. And Rough Rider might actually call this a baby Barlow as well. But I really love the rounded bolster. I really like the decorative bolster on this Rough Rider as opposed to this one. You know, like I said, this one doesn't bother me so much, but I actually like this one. I think it's classy looking, and I think Rough Rider should put this on all of them. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. This is just a single blade, clip point, nickel silver bolsters, 440A steel, you know, brass liners. This is smooth white bone. And I can't remember what I paid for this, but I believe it was under 10 bucks. Cool little knife. Fit and finish isn't all that great, but it's got a nice little snap, and I do enjoy carrying this one. This is a great watch pocket knife. Then we have my only TC 14 Barlow. This is from the 2018 run, I believe. Yeah, 2018 run. Steel bolsters, 1095 carbon. Awesome, Tom's choice. On the blade, we got 4 pins plus the flattened cover as opposed to the rounded with 3 pins. I believe what is it, 2017, 2018? This is a 2017. I believe 2018 was the last year that they made TC Barlows the 15 frame with 3 pins. You'll notice here on the newer one, on the 15, we have 4 pins, very similar to the 15 TC or the 14 TC I have. So very cool. I mean, Great Eastern Cutlery does do subtle changes like this every now and then to their patterns. You know, it's not such an issue with dating because they're stamping it on every blade, but it is cool for the collector to kind of see how a knife will evolve as they're being produced. So I talked about the TC. This is a 25. Again, this sleeve board frame. Of course, the blade is coming out of the smaller end. What year is this from? This is from the 2017 lineup. Goldenrod jig bone. Love the jigging on this one. Love the color on this one. Short little fat Barlow. This one's just a titty, but it does have threaded bolsters, which is really cool. No marking on the blade. I love the 1095 big fat spear. Big short stubby fat spear. Also I would say a legendary pocket knife, or a watch pocket knife, I should say. When you're getting in this size, I think all of these are great for the watch pocket. This is a very capable blade despite its small size. And then I have another 25. What is this in? Patriot acrylic. This one's an old one. This one's from 2008. I had to pull this one out of the private collection just to show you guys again. American Patriot. Again, it's just a titty with the threaded bolster. This one is serialized. It's number 20 of 50, which they so graciously put huge on the back of the blade. But that's okay. You can tell that they were proud of what they did. They wanted to show off a little bit. They have toned it down a lot as far as the recent runs. I haven't seen any blade etches like that in a really long time, but I also haven't seen a lot of runs of 50 in a long time. So, you know, I think that might be a thing of the past. But I'm glad I got a couple. You know, I mean, these, I don't know what they're going for now, but these were just, you know, traded like openly, you know, a few years ago. I mean, I would try patterns out, I would trade them, I would get new patterns in, you know, and then the prices just started getting stupid on eBay, and I started holding on to a lot more of these and not kind of turning them over as quickly as I was. So these are the baby Barlows, sub 3-inch small Barlows. Then I have some 15 TC Barlows. This is, you guys have seen this on the channel a lot. This is my 2017 Gabon Ebony. Love this knife. This is one of my main users. I have polished it up recently. I just wanted to remember what it looked like without the patina. Yeah, I think it looks great. This is just one of the first TCs. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not one of the first TCs. I think this is what was my 4th or 5th TC that I got. But for a short time, this was the only TC that I still had because I sold a lot of them. I've started to pick some more up, but this one's in the collection forever. Absolutely love it. Fit and finish is great. I love the ebony. I love the way it looks when it patinas. Really great. Really happy I have this knife in the collection. This one is a more recent acquisition. This is a TC. It's a custom scales, covers, I should say. Ambonia burl. Really, really fancy piece of wood. Yeah, I have a video on this one. I can direct you guys to that. I'll put it up here somewhere, but I've really been enjoying this one. I have been told since I made the video, we have looked into it a little bit more, and I do now believe that this was a TC frame, just recovered from the, I believe it was the peach seed jig bone to the Ambonia burl wood. Yeah, really awesome. Cool knife to have in the collection. Definitely check that video out that I did on that one. I also picked up this one recently, just to say I got some from the 2021 line. This could be the last Charlie Campagna TC Barlow SFO. See there, genuine Barlow on the etch. Sepia bone, sepia saw cut bone. I've seen some of this run that the covers were really light and blotchy. This one seems to be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I do like saw cut bone. I like saw cut Delrin. I'm just a fan of saw cut in general. So I got 2 more knives to talk about, then I'll wrap this up. This is a lion steel Dom. Of course, the Dom had the sheep's foot blade. They also had the round head, which I believe was the spear point blade, and the shuffler, which was the clip point blade. All of them were M390 steel, you know, titanium bolsters. They had a variety of covers that you could get. I've had it in the micarta, I've had it in ram's horn, and now I have it in stag. Great looking piece of stag on this. This is a modern take on the Barlow. Everything about this is very precise. It's got a very satisfying action. Great walk and talk. You know, it does rub some traditional guys the wrong way because of the torques on the handle. But I think it looks great. You can see we have a long pull on both sides. I love that sheep's foot blade. Super aggressive swedging up top. Very clean lines. Yeah, this was a Collector's Knives SFO, and I believe all the ones that were made are made and out there, and I don't know if they are making another run of the Dom or the Shuffler or the Roundhead. I'm not sure. But I'm really happy that I was able to pick up this one. So the last one, the only Granddaddy Barlow or Daddy Barlow that I have. This one's from the Marbles Wildlife Scrimshaw series. And of course they had smooth white bone handles with some scrimshaw. And here you can see a little raccoon scene. Then we have some spacers, and all of the ones in the Wildlife Scrimshaw series had a piece of stag inserted. A little insert of real stag, and then we come to our big oversized bolster. Really cool knife. Like I said, I do like these. I've had a few of these. I think I've only had, Chinese variety. I would like to get some vintage American-made ones. but I do enjoy it. It's a ridiculously sized pocket knife, but I find a knife this size really excels as a picnic knife. In German, we'd say a Brotzeitmesser. Just for, taking out, having a good, decent, capable size blade, for a picnic or for, eating on the go. Or, yeah, whatever. I think that's where this knife excels, but really cool. Glad I have it in the collection. Again, this is Marbles. I believe it's Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Do they own Marbles? I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But I believe they're made in the same factory as the Rough Riders. I mean, when you look at a Rough Rider Granddaddy Barlow, it's, identical to this. So they're coming from the same factory. They just put different tank stamps on them. And the Marbles typically cost a little bit more than the Rough Riders. But this Wildlife Scrimshaw series, from what I understand, was an older run, and they're long sold out, and there's a collector's market and people hunt for these knives. And yeah, I have one of them. I have the Granddaddy Barlow or the Big Daddy Barlow. I'm not sure. Levine calls this the XL Barlow or the Daddy Barlow, and says most of them are around 5 inches. And I believe this handle is right at 5 inches. All right, guys, so that's going to do it. It's gone on long enough. I just wanted to turn the camera on and show you my Barlows. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day. Bye-bye.